Welcome back to Watching God with your host, Watchful. Today, I'm going to cover new information, which I believe will drastically change the Rapture narrative. This information is going to solidify the expectation, and it's going to, I believe it's going to give keystone legends or key parts that will give you a map for which to navigate the end time events, if that makes sense. I apologize in advance if this is a very rough draft type of video. I want to get the information out as quickly as possible. I have not taken the time that I normally do to put together like slides and stuff like this, so we're just going to go through the information so you can understand it. And then I'll go through and do a nice polished version of this later. So I am going to reveal the rapture time, the time frame today, and I believe I'm going to provide concrete evidence to support my claim biblically. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to start with the Revelation 12 sign and why it's important. We're going to cover Revelation 4, and I'm going to show you how it's a celestial clock that points out dates and times. And then Revelation 6, we're going to go through the 4 seals, including dates. And then finally, when to expect the rapture within a 2-day window. And hopefully, if you've followed this video all the way to the end, you'll agree with me that this is probably the proper date. So first, we start with the Revelation 12 sign. So this happened on September 23rd, 2017. If you look in your Bible to Revelation 12, it says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered." So the reason why this is important is this is an anchor point. This actually gives us a physical sign that we can associate with the written scripture that was written a long time ago. And it's significant because this sign doesn't happen ever, except for this one time. I know this picture says once in 7,000 years. I looked backwards and forwards 7,000 years. I couldn't find this sign actually happening again. I could be wrong. I might have just missed it. But regardless, 7,000 years is a long period of time. So that actually acts as an anchor point. So that we know where to start to look for events. And that's why this is significant, as it gets the attention. There's a lot of meaning around this. I'm not going to handle that today because I need to get to the seals and and how to interpret them and how to identify them and what they mean. So there's a lot of information I'm not going to cover today. We're going to just flat out skip Revelation 5. Just because I want to get to the point as quickly as possible, because I truly believe that for watchmen who are listening to God, this will change the narrative. There's a lot of speculation about what the meaning of the horses are, what the meaning of the seals are, things like that, what the meaning of the 24 elders, the beasts, stuff like that. I hope to answer those questions today. In a convincing enough manner that it changes the narrative for those who are meek to hear. I could be wrong. I'm happy if somebody wants to provide contradictory evidence to what I'm presenting here today. If it's scriptural and it fits, it doesn't contradict, I'm happy to change what it is that I'm teaching today. But I've been working on this for a very long time, and I believe that it's been given to be revealed now. So here we go. Revelation 4, is that? Yeah, so we're going to cover Revelation 4. So this is John. He is in prison on the island of Patmos in Greece. And this is what it looks like for him. So this is the world view. So this is John's prison. Let's zoom in here. So Greece right here. So this is where John is at. He's in here. I don't know exactly where his cell was. I looked for a day. It's in here somewhere. I'm making an assumption when I believe that his view was pointing north, but I think you'll see my reasoning for that. If somebody has information on where his cell was in here, it could give us a better idea of what he saw when he saw that window in heaven. But let's keep reading. So after this, I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, "Come up hither, and I will show thee things which must come hereafter." Okay, so let's zoom into what I think is John's view. So if you come in here and you're looking north, this is about what he's looking at. Now this is a balcony in the monastery, which it's the prison is now a monastery. So this obviously isn't his room. It's somewhere around here, and I do know that it was a cave-like cell, and there are chains in there where he was chained, and I do know that he had a window. That's what I know so far. I just don't know exactly where it is. So let's assume that this is his view, and I say that because it's important that this is looking north. So it says, "And I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were a trumpet talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show thee things which must come hereafter." So if the window was right here, pointing north, then this is where it was calling him to. So we'll zoom back out here, and this is what his vision is. It would have sent him out here, and then the "come up hither" would have taken him up here, up north. And this is why I was pointing out him going north, is I believe this is where the point of origin from where the vision takes place. So let's keep reading. So this is the North Pole, by the way. "And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne." So I think the throne set in heaven is the earth. If we come back out here to the world view, I believe that the throne set in heaven is the earth. Right there. "And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald." Now this is what got my attention for the location, this emerald. So imagine at this point he's looking at this. I don't know how to add the Aurora Borealis on here, but the Aurora Borealis pretty much circles this right here, this line. So to get an idea of what that looks like, that's what it looks like. So you've got the Aurora Borealis that circles this, and that island that I zoomed up to is, I believe, right here. So he's looking from heaven, and he sees him that sat on the throne was to look upon like jasper and sardine, and there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald. Some interesting things about this, the Aurora Borealis. So this is what it looks like from space. So this, you can tell that there's definitely green like an emerald, but it also has like this red jasper sardine-like color. I don't know if that's what he was referring to when he saw this, or if he was actually taken up to Polaris, which I'll show you why I think it could have been Polaris. I didn't prepare an image for this, but space images of Polaris actually show this like sardine stone cloud in that area of space. I'll include that when I go through and do a refining on this video. So, all right, so round about the throne were four. Well, actually, let's continue to look at what I got here. So this is another picture of the Aurora Borealis this is Northern Lights. And then, all right, so now let's cover the 24 elders. So right now, John is right here. He's either zoomed in here or he's at Polaris. It's hard to say. I have reasonings for both, and I'll show you why. If you zoom in here, and he's standing on this island right there, he can see the sky. And round about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. Now, I don't have a concrete answer on who the 24 elders are. It's not the most relevant information I'm going to share today, but I'll tell you what my theories are. I've gone roundabout. I know I've listened to every teaching I can find on what people have speculated about the 24 elders, whether it's 12 elders from each tribe, stuff like that. It doesn't fit with the context. So the context here is a celestial clock, right? And you're going to see this more and more as we get deeper into this. This is talking about celestial bodies. It's basically talking about the earth and constellations. So in order to fit in that context, the only thing that really seems to fit is hours. We have 24 hours in a day. And in Genesis, where God made the firmament and divided the waters. Let's see. So where did he do the light? And God called, no, let's see. Let's go to here. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day. And the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Where does it say he made the greater day to rule the day and the lesser to rule the night? Divided the light from darkness. Anyway, this is what I think the elders are. And I believe the reason why they're called elders is it was among the first things that he did. So when you look at them being clothed in white with hat on their heads, crowns of golds, I believe the white is referring to the nighttime when the lesser light shines, and the crowns of gold is referring to the daytime. Again, I don't have like really solid confirmation on this. This is just the most plausible. Yes, it could definitely have a dual meaning where it's referring to, elders. But in the context of what we're looking at here, I believe that this is probably saying that it's hours. And the more I dig into this, I'm sure I'll have a more solid answer on how to explain this. But so this is what I think it looks like. So if you look at my little chart here, so we're up at the North Pole. And we're going to look at the beasts. I'll explain those in a minute. Don't get distracted from there. But around the throne, so this is the earth. Around the throne is 24 elders. This is why I think it might be ours. So this would be the gold part, and this would actually be the clothed in white. One teaching that I heard sounded pretty plausible is in certain cultures, it is taught that during a particular hour is the time for something to give praise. So like during 1 hour, it's the birds. During another hour, it's the cows. During another hour, it's during... In other words, the point of it is God is to be praised 24 hours a day. And I believe that actually fits. And you'll see why I think that might be the case as we read later on in verse in Revelations 4 here. All right, so that's the 24 elders. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunders and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. That's not pertinent to today's information. Yeah, we'll come back to that in another video. And before the throne, there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. So this is why I think we actually zoom in here. So remember, we zoomed in onto that island, and we're standing on the island here in the North Pole. So if you come over here to Stellarium, this is what it looks like. This is what the constellations look like when you're standing in the North Pole, right here. So let me turn on the Earth so you can see what I'm talking about. Not that, this. All right, so that's about the best view you're going to get for the time I have here. But trust me when I tell you this is the North Pole. Here you can see I've got it set here as the North Pole. All right, so this is the view for where John is right now. And before the throne was a sea of glass like unto crystal. So we've got the sea of glass like unto crystal. Probably better if it were frozen water, not snow. But like I said, rough draft video here. All right, in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. So that's where these guys come in. So you've got the beasts full of eyes before and behind, right? So it's talking about constellations. And the reason I know that is it's going to give us descriptions of the beasts. And the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf, and the third beast had the face of a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. So if we come over here, we've got Leo right here. He's the first beast. Then we have Taurus. He's the second beast. And then we have the face of the man. That's Ophiuchus. And then we have Aquila, which is the eagle, right? Like a flying eagle. Amazing how the scripture lines up with this, right? And I'm going to show you some stuff that's really going to blow your mind, especially when we get to seal 3. All right, so this is how I know where the location is that John is, right? So he's taken up, he's here. These are the 4 beasts. The order is going to be important. And there's kind of a trick here involved. So you've got Leo. So it's not like completely circular. So it goes Leo, Taurus, Ophiuchus, Aquila. And let's just keep reading. I'll point out why it's important later on. Okay. And the 4 beasts had each of them 6 wings about them and were full of eyes within, and they rest not day and night, saying, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, which was, and is to come. So again, this is further evidence that it's constellations. So if you look at, I think it's Psalms 19, it says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. That's the zodiac. Those are the constellations that the sun passes through. And this is going to tell you what that is for, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuits unto the end thereof. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Okay, so a lot of information here. I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible. So basically, you can see that this is saying that the heavens tell a story, and that the path of the sun, it's the zodiac, is telling us a story about the bridegroom coming out of his chamber. And the result, so basically what that is they rest not night and day. So that's where you get, that's why I think the 24 elders are 24 hours. That's basically saying rest not night and day. And as the sun moves through the zodiac, it's saying, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, which was and is to come. It's basically telling that story of the bridegroom coming out of his chamber. This is telling the story of redemption, right? Okay. And when those beasts, so this is a bad translation. I think when I looked at this, it's supposed to be whenever those beasts give glory and honor and thanks to him that sat on the throne, who liveth forever and ever. The 24 elders fall down before him that sat on the throne and worship him that liveth forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne. I'm still working on fully understanding that. It's not relevant for this video right now. It seems to either indicate something about the tilt of the earth, and I'm going to show you why I'm speculating on that, because based on the time frames that line up with the constellations and the events that actually point out what's happening. But let's just keep going. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. Okay, we're going to skip 5, and then we're going to go head over here to the seals, because this is really what I want to point out without making this video too long. All right, so I believe that it makes sense to you that we have the location and we've identified the beasts. So now let's look at the seals when they're being opened and see if we can't identify what's happening here. So in verse 6, Revelation 6, verse 1, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, a noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, come and see. Okay, we're going to stop right here. I just found this right before making this video. So let's go over here. This is where we are. Okay. Zooming around here. So let me get looking at, so this is talking about Aquila. And this is happening on December 26, 2019. And the reason I know that is, so you have the beast. So we're up here in the North Pole looking, and you have the beast that says, come and see. The reason it says come and see is because you can't see the celestial event that's happening right now. So you have to actually go down around the planet from John's location in order to see this. So this is what is happening underneath Aquila. So you have Sagittarius, which is a rider on a horse who has a bow. And right here you have Jupiter, which represents Jesus. And you have an annular solar eclipse, which is also called a corona eclipse because it has a crown. This is where the moon moves in front of the sun, and you can see the edges of the sun around it. So if we go look at, so I started these playlists to show you eclipses and the events that happen on these days. So we've got seals 1 through 3. So here is what that eclipse looked like. Pardon the commercial here. I'll cut this out eventually. All right, so if we come skip over here, this is what it looks like. So I haven't fixed my audio. Let me see if I can get the microphone to show you this. Hopefully you can hear that. So we're looking at the eclipse there, right? So we're looking at the eclipse, and then let's go back and read. And I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, come and see. So I hope you could hear in that video the people screaming. I believe that is the noise of thunder. So, and then you have the eclipse, and then you have one of the beasts saying, come and see. And then, and I saw, and behold, a white horse. I believe the white is referring to Jupiter. This is, I hear a lot of people teaching that the white, because of the purity, it represents Jesus, stuff like that. I think that I think that's why Jupiter is here. This is in conjunction with the eclipse, and then you also have Mercury over here. But I believe that probably could be why the color white is used. I'm still learning a lot of information about this. I'm just revealing what I've got so far. As I continue to work this, I find new cool things. So I've discovered the first 2 seals several months ago, and I did a video called "The Tribulation Seals Are Being Opened," and I was confident about the first 2 seals. I still am. I wasn't so sure about the seal 3 and seal 4. I can tell you now I was wrong about those seals, and I'm going to this is my point is this I'm learning information. I haven't got all of this all at once, and as I learn more, I change. I update my understanding. So this is being revealed literally daily, and especially in the last 2 or 3 days, it's just coming so fast I can't even keep up. That's why I got to get this video out. Anyway. All right, so, and I saw and behold a white horse, that's Jupiter, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. This word crown is corona, was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. The interesting thing about this day is this is visible from, I believe it's the United States, so you got Aquila calling you down to look and see this. Or no, this is the one that's in Wuhan. So if you come over here, that's why this is here. So you've got the solar eclipse, and then this is December 26, 2019 is when the coronavirus outbreak started in Wuhan. And this eclipse happened to be visible from Wuhan, China. It's a partial eclipse in Wuhan, China. You actually have to go further down in China to see the full eclipse. But that's why this is significant. So, and the reason I find it interesting is that he went forth conquering and to conquer. The coronavirus has done that. I don't think anybody would argue that it has pretty much conquered the entire planet. So, and I don't expect you to just believe this, but I think that as you see the culmination of the three seals and just how crazy detailed this gets, especially in seal number 3, it'll make it seem more plausible that this is actually referring to the coronavirus. So I've started a playlist and I'm collecting videos from that day. I'm not going to play them today. I just want to get through this. So let's move on to the second seal. So the first seal, I believe, was opened on December 26, 2019. And this is basically pointing to the constellation Sagittarius. The crown is referring to the coronavirus, and it was the first thing to get our attention, and the beasts are calling our attention to it. So the constellation Aquila is calling our attention to look at Sagittarius, and he that went forth conquering and to conquer is the coronavirus. All right, moving on to number 2. And when he had opened, here's the other thing to notice about this. So I told you order was important. So notice in verse 1 here, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying. Notice it doesn't say the first beast. It says one of the 4 beasts. That is what allows you to see Aquila rather than Leo. Because Leo was the first beast that was listed, right? It was a lion. It went lion, calf, man, face of a man, and then the flying eagle. Isn't it interesting and amazing how accurate the Bible is in this prophecy, in this revelation, that it says one of the 4 beasts here, and it doesn't give you a number. However, when you get to the next one, it gives a number. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." Check out who this is. So let's go back here, and then we're going to skip forward 1 year to 2020. And this happened on December 14th. So you can't see. See, it's below the horizon. So here you have the face of a man, and he's saying, "Come and see." But he's the second beast. He's not the second beast in the order given, though. He's the second beast in the reverse order. So figuratively, keep your thumb here in Revelation 6:4. Let's go back and look at Revelation 4, where it talks about the beasts, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here, because this is just further evidence that this is the right track on what this is saying. And the first beast was like a lion, the second beast like a calf, the third beast had the face of a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. We're going in reverse order. So when it said one of the beasts, it was the flying eagle. And then the second one from that order is the face of a man. And then what that tells us is what the third beast is going to be and what the fourth beast is going to be. So I'll just give you the spoiler now. So this is the first seal. The face of a man is the second seal. The beast, or the calf, or Taurus, is the third seal. And then the lion is the fourth seal. Okay, so let's go back to Revelation 6:4. Okay. And and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And as you saw, again, this is one that you have to go down there and see, because John can't see below this horizon. So if you turn off the horizon, you can see, and I don't have the exact time here set up, but basically there's an eclipse here. Let's see, so moon, that's going further away. All right, so right there. So the eclipse is not visible from the North Pole. You actually have to go down to the United States. This eclipse was visible from the United. Matter of fact, here, you know what? Let's just go there. Let's go to Washington. Oops. Washington, D.C. All right. on, I don't know. Let's see. Is there? Oh, maybe it's the District of Columbia. All right. Let's just stick with Washington. Washington. Everett, Washington's definitely not right. See, these are the wrong Washingtons. I wanted to get Washington, D.C. Oh, there it is. Yay. Okay, so this is Washington, D.C. So check this out. Oops. There you go. I don't know why that's not lined up like that, but this is, if you go look on the internet and you'll see the videos here. I got a video here. So this is the second seal. So this is the eclipse. Small frames, but pardon the commercial here. Okay. So this is the eclipse, and this was what was visible. Oh, this is in Argentina. Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Again, lack of preparation here. The eclipse was most visible from Argentina. It was somewhat visible from the United States. Sorry about that. I'll get that better in the other video I do after this. Okay, so I'm sure there's something spiritually related about Argentina. That's not what this video is about. But here's what's significant about that day. So let's continue reading. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. So what's significant about this day is this happens to be the day that that the Electoral College announced that Joe Biden was the president. It also happens to be the day that the first vaccine was given. So you literally have Joe Biden becoming the president after Trump, who is on record for the only president who, pardon me for, I'm probably not going to get this exactly correct, but he was a peaceful president. You know, he talked with North Korea. He worked deals to bring peace. I think you could agree with me that since Joe Biden has been in office, he has taken peace away from the earth. And the sword that he was given, it looks like was the vaccine, because that also happens to be the same day that the vaccine was made available and the first shot was given. So let's continue reading. So, and the reason why red is important here is I believe that's referring to Mercury. So Mercury is the planet closest to the sun. This word red is actually for the color here is for fire, I believe. So if we look at this, fiery red, which it's interesting that this is in conjunction with Mercury, right? So I believe that's what that's referring to. So you have peace taken from the earth, and you have a sword. So plausible, right? It lines up. So you've got the constellations, you've got the events, you got Joe Biden, and you've got the vaccine. So that identifies what the sword is, which is going to be important later on when we get to seal number 4. Okay, moving on. Let's go look at seal number 3. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." Now, I want to point out here, this is the first time that he says, "and I beheld." The first 2 times he doesn't behold. He actually has to go down and look. Here, he just says, "and I beheld." I'll show you why that's cool. So check this out. So I'm back up here. Back here. So notice that Aquila, oh, we're not in the North Pole anymore. Let's go back to the North Pole. I had to add the North Pole on Stellarium here, so if you try to replicate this in Stellarium, you'll have to add the North Pole. Just Google it. It tells you how to add locations. It's north 90, and then all the zeros, and then east and all these zeros, and then you add it as a location. All right, so we're back up here at the North Pole. So notice on these 2 guys, you actually have to go over the horizon to see what they're pointing out. We now know that the third seal, because of the order, remember I said the order is important. So if you come over here and we should look for the next seal to be opened, and it should be correlating with Taurus. Now, the reason why I was unsure on seal number 3 the first time I went through this video is because I didn't have enough supporting evidence to really confirm that this is the third seal. And boy, when I show you what I found, there's no doubt in my mind that this is definitely the third seal. Okay, so the date is 2021 and it is June 10th. So if we go to June 10th, 2021, and we go find Taurus, what we have here is we have another eclipse. The eclipse is taking place in the horns of Taurus. And if I turn off the atmosphere, check this out. So you've got Venus sitting here in, I believe this is Gemini. It says Pollux, but I believe the name of this is Gemini. Where's the names of these guys? Gemini, yeah. So this is sitting in Gemini. So here's what's interesting about what happened on that day. So Biden met with Boris Johnson and they signed a deal to work together. And on that day, check out what they did here. What does that look like? Does that not look like Gemini? To me, that is pretty darn convincing evidence that this is probably the day the third seal was opened. So let's see what that third seal is about. And when he had opened the third seal, and I heard the beast say, "Come and see," and I beheld. Remember, he didn't have to go anywhere. He just turned around and beheld. And look at the angle of the earth. Look, he's standing here. He just has to look up, and I beheld. Isn't that amazing how accurate the word is? Oh my God. If you don't believe in God and that this is written about the future, I don't know how much more you need for convincing. So the black horse here tripped me up. And it wasn't until I actually looked up this word, black. It's melos. One of the usages of this word is ink. And this happens to be the day that Biden and Boris ink a deal together, right? But wait, there's more. Check this out. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. The first time I made a video on this, I pointed out that this word for balances is actually the word for yoke. And what that had me looking for is I thought it had to do with the mandates, because one of the usages is like bondage, like bond ropes. But what I found is so much cooler. So the word here is yoke. And if you look up zygos, so let's go look up Google. Let's go Google zygos. So Zygos, Greek. All right, so this is Strong's number 2218, and it wasn't until I saw this properly, a yoke, a wooden bar placed over the neck of a pair of animals so they can pull together. What unites two people to move or work together as one. Oh my gosh. What kind of perspective does that give you on a yoke? Not only do you have a calf here that is yoked together, but you also have Gemini here where these two are yoked together. So you have this beast saying, look for this, look at this. And then on that day, you got these guys and they've signed a deal to work together going forward. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so now we're getting close to the end of this video and what I wanted to share, right? So far we've covered the Revelation 12 sign. It's an anchor point. Revelation 4. Hopefully you can see, like I see, that this is a celestial clock. Yes, I'm sure there's dual meanings, but I believe this is providing the information to have an understanding on the seals and the dates. So when can we expect the rapture? So if you look at this timing, so this was seal number 1. This was seal number 2. This is seal number 3. Obviously, seal number 4 is going to be Leo. So looking for events for Leo. What's interesting about the location of these, and I think this also has something to do with the 24 elders. These guys, the sun events happened in December. Over here, it happens in June. Guess what month signs happen over here in Leo? September. Why is that important? So before we go there, And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. One thing I see a lot of teachers get very wrong when they're teaching about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I could say that I'd say, I know I've seen a couple people get it right, but I'd say like 98% of people who teach about the 4 beasts of Revelation 6, they assume that the hyperinflation is the result of seal number 3, the black horse with the balances. I believe they assume that the balances is measuring the wheat or something like that. I can understand how they come to that conclusion, but I want to point out here that it says, I heard a voice in the midst or in the middle of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny. So what that is saying, what it seems to me that this is saying, is that the hyperinflation is the result of all 4 seals being open. And I would say that we can see that happening. If you just go look, just look at wheat prices. Wheat prices up 68%. Wheat prices up 40%. So they are going up right now. And I've given you plausible reasoning that the first 3 seals have been opened. So this fits with what I've shown you is as the result of those. But it says 4 beasts. What this tells me, and what you can take from this, is the future is grim. It means that it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better, because this is in the midst of the 4 beasts, and we haven't gotten to the 4th beast yet. So let's do that. And when he had opened the 4th seal. So at this point, I hope you can recognize we're talking about the future. So I'm recording this video on March 3rd, 2022, and I'm basically revealing the future to you. It's not me, really. It's the word, but I'm helping you see this from the scripture so that you, for the first time in your life, you actually know what the very close days ahead hold for you. One thing you can understand is gas prices aren't going to get cheaper. Food is not going to get easier to get. And it's going to get worse. Right now, it's not quite a day's wage for food, but that's where it's going to get to. So today, I'll give you a time frame for how long you have to plan for. So let's continue with seal number 4. And when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, come and see. So now we know that this is Leo the lion right now, right? So let's go position ourselves to look at Leo. So here's Leo right there. And I'm going to show you the date of this here in a minute. I'm vibrating. I'm so excited, you guys. And I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold. Again, this isn't I beheld. This one is, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse. This word pale is the word chloros. It should be translated green. Okay? And behold, a pale horse. And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. Okay, let's go at this one by one. So far we've had white, red, and black. White referred to Jupiter, red referred to Mercury, black seems to refer to Venus. I don't know why. Venus does. There's something called the black drop effect, where Venus moves in front of the sun and causes a black drop. I don't know if that's what it's referring to, but it seems to be like a dual correlation between the color ink, like ink, and there's also that correlation with Venus. I didn't cover that, but I'm telling you that now. So the green one, it seems like the colors refer to planets. The only green planets that I know of in the universe, well, I mean, I'm sure there's others. They've apparently discovered 24 livable planets. But look at this. Chloros. The earth is the pale green horse. And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him. And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. So what we have here is death followed by hell. What I think we're looking at is when the rapture takes place. And I'm going to show you further evidence of why I think that. So, first of all, death followed by hell. Death, obviously, we know means the death of your natural body. But why followed by hell? If you're not born again here, you're not going to be, the next conscious thought that you'll have will be at the judgment seat. I think that's why it says hell. Is these are the people that are going to die are the ones that are going to be thrown in the fiery pit. So that's why it's so important for me to get this information out now, because I'm about to tell you how long you have before this happens. And I hope that the watchmen can bind together and spread this message to save as many people as we can. I know they've been doing it, but you guys need to stick with me, because there are other things. I'm going to do a video on the mark of the beast, and you're not going to like what it is. And there are a lot of watchmen, I'd say almost all of them, probably are going to have a very hard time accepting what the mark of the beast is. But hopefully you can see from my evidence here today that I am a faithful workman, and God has revealed this to me so that I can give it to you. Hopefully that provides you with the confidence to know that when I tell you what the mark of the beast is, you believe me. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword. I believe this is vaccine right here. I don't know if Google's going to allow this to stay on the video, but I believe that's what that's referring to. God will energize this video how he needs to. So what I believe is going to happen is when the rapture happens, there's also going to be massive death to the tune of 2 billion people, because there's about 8 billion people on this planet, right? And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger. So now we know hunger because it's going to get worse, and with death and with the beasts of the earth. So death here, the reason why it doesn't say death and hell is the death is the people who don't take the mark of the beast. These ones are the ones who have either not believed, so you like people who believe in evolution, people who are atheists. That's death followed by hell. The death here is those people who, after the rapture, have died defending the name of Jesus. And that's really for another video, kind of. Suffice it to say that that's what that's referring to. And with the beasts of the earth. You know, with corn and wheat, we have a farm, and our food costs have tripled. Same thing with animal feed. There's a lot of people that aren't going to be able to feed their animals, and they're going to start looking for food wherever they can get it. So the beasts of the earth. Okay, so let's figure out when this happens, right? So we have the fourth seal. I've told you what's going to happen here. When is this going to happen? To know when this happens, we need to look at Matthew 24. I think it's in 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So remember the last beast that we have? Leo. So we also know that the Festival of Trumpets, there's a lot of language. I don't remember where it is right now, and I'm not going to look it up, but it basically says that when Jesus returns, the dead in Christ will rise first, and then those which are alive and remain will be gathered together in the air. That says at the last trump. So here's why I think this is when this is going to happen. So the Festival of Trumpets, which is spiritually the next festival to be fulfilled, is on September 25th. So it's between September 25th and the 27th. So the Festival of Trumpets starts at sundown on September 25th. So check this out. So let's go look at Leo on the 25th and behold what is happening here. So you have the sun clothing Virgo, and as we go through, see if I can stay zoomed in on the sun here. Oops. As we go through this festival, look where the moon goes. So we're on the 26th. Remember, the festival is 2 days. It goes until the 27th, sundown. So this is the 27th. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 28th. This is the sign of the Son of Man. You have the woman clothed with the sun, with the moon at her feet. This is the sign when he was born. Venus was in conjunction with Regulus, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Was the Star of Bethlehem 2 years after he was born. Another video for another time. But suffice it to say that this is the sign of man. And this also happens to be the last beast for opening the seal, Leo the lion. So what I believe this is telling us is that we can expect the rapture to happen at the Festival of Trumpets between September 25th and 27th. I would venture to say it's probably going to be closer to the end, because at that Festival of Trumpets, Ram Teruah, I believe is the name of the festival. There are the blowing of the trumpets have different names. The last one has a specific name, and it is called the last trump. I believe this is when the rapture is going to be. All evidence is pointing here. If I've missed something, you now have the keys to understand Revelation. I'm finding new things every single day. And I hope this gives you the confidence to know that God has revealed this to me. He's given me the tools that I need to discover this so that I can give it to you. And as a household together, we can continue to look for new information about these end times. So what this is saying is we got about 6 months. So make sure that you've got everything you need taken care of for the next 6 months. And right now, as watchmen, it is your responsibility, now that you have heard this information, to share this information. The narrative about the horsemen and the war and, the destruction and stuff like that, you now have clarity. I'll be making these playlists available so you can see these videos, and I am going to do another video of this. I'm going to try and hopefully somebody who's good with animation and video production can help me put together I would love to be able to put together with this, animating from John's prison to the North Pole. I would love to get the Aurora Borealis in here so that you can see how that plays a role in it. But yeah, I mean, it just, the word it's so precise, from the order of the beasts to literally Biden and Boris simulating Gemini on this day. I mean, what are the chances? Astronomical. Anybody who believes in evolution after this, man, I don't know. I just don't know how you could not believe in an all-powerful creator who knows everything. I mean, he obviously knows enough to tell us the future, and you're looking at the future right now. Okay, right now you're looking at the future. This, I believe, is when the rapture is going to happen. So I'm going to make another video. I'm going to go take a nap right now because I haven't gotten any sleep in 2 days, but I'm going to make another video to detail out. I have so much more information. You have no idea. I'm going to be able to I will tell you how the rapture is going to take place. I can tell you what the strong delusion is. I can tell you who the son of perdition is, and I can tell you what the mark of the beast is. So stay tuned. Please work this for yourselves. Tell me if I've missed anything and continue to work the word with me. I really want to nail down what the 6 wings are. And if there's any other information about the 24 elders, And then we didn't even get into Revelation 5. So anyway, I'm going to cut this off now before it gets too long. God bless you. Here's looking up, guys. Keep watching. This is your host, Watchful, signing out.